Good morning. Today the topic is injecting slip frequency voltage into the rotor circuit and a no load test and three-phase induction motor. Okay, injecting slip frequency voltage into the rotor circuit. So there are two methods which the speed has to be controlled in induction motor. One is stator side, another one is rotor side. From stator side, it includes supply frequency voltage control, supply voltage control, controlling number of stator pole, adding rheostats in the stator circuit. These topics will be discussed. From the rotor side, adding external resistance, cascade control, injecting slip voltage into the rotor circuit. Okay, this injecting slip frequency voltage now we are going to discuss. Injecting slip frequency voltage. This method is other name called as injecting EMF in the rotor circuit. In this method, the voltage has to be injected in the rotor circuit. Okay, the voltage has to be injected in the rotor circuit. The frequency of the rotor circuit is slip frequency, and hence voltage is to be injected must have be slip frequency. It is possible that the injected voltage may oppose the rotor induced EMF or may assist the rotor induced EMF. If it is in the phase opposition, effective rotor resistance increases. If it is in the phase of rotor induced EMF, the effective rotor resistance decreases. Thus, by controlling the magnitude of the injected EMF, the rotor resistance and effectively speed which can be controlled. Okay, so there are two methods which is to be involved in this method. Okay, there are two methods. Okay. One is Cramer system, another one is Scherber's system. Okay, Scherber's system. One is Cramer, another one is Scherber's system. Okay, the main advantage of this method is a wide range of speed control. Okay, which can be achieved. Okay, wide range of speed control means the normal speed which will be above. Okay, that is wide range of speed control. First one, Cramer system. Okay, the Cramer system. This is a diagram, circuit diagram of the Cramer system. Okay, circuit diagram of the Cramer system. It consists of main induction motor. This is a three-phase line. Okay, from the three-phase, we have to give the supply to the main motor. Main motor stands for induction motor, and M. Okay, which we are saying as M. The speed of this motor can be controlled. Okay, we are going to control the speed of this motor. Okay, it consists of two additional equipments. Okay, this motor consists of two additional equipments. One is DC motor, another one is rotary converter. Okay, one is DC motor, one is DC motor. This is DC motor 1. Okay, and a rotary converter 2. Okay, DC motor, rotary converter. The slip rings, okay, these are the slip rings. Okay, this is slip rings. Okay, the slip ring of this main motor are connected to the AC side of the rotary converter. Okay, rotary converter. Understood or not? Okay, rotary converter. Then the DC side of the rotary converter. Okay, this is the DC side of the rotary converter or feeds a DC shunt commutator. Okay, DC shunt. Okay, this is the commutator. Okay, this is the commutator. Okay, which is to be connected. Okay, so these both will be directly connected to the shaft. Again, I will explain the DC side. Okay, the DC side of the rotary converter feeds to the DC side of the commutator. Okay, DC motor commutator, which is directly connected to the shaft of the main motor. Okay, a separate DC supply is required to excite the field winding, because in DC motor there are two windings. One is field, another one is armature. Field winding will be the input, armature winding will be the output, rotating. Okay, so in field winding we are giving the DC supply. Field winding is a DC supply, so we are going to give a separate DC supply to the DC motor. A separate DC supply is required to excite the field winding of DC motor and excited winding of the rotary converter. Okay, exciting winding of the rotary converter. Okay, exciting winding of the rotary converter. The variable resistance, okay, this is a variable resistance, is introduced in the field circuit of the DC motor, okay, which act as a generator, okay, which act as a generator. Understood, Arna? Again, I will explain. A separate DC supply is required to excite the field winding of the DC motor and the exciting winding of the rotary converter also. Okay, exciting winding of the rotary converter. A variable resistance is introduced in the field circuit of the DC motor, which act as a field regulator. Okay, which act as a field regulator. The speed of the set is controlled by varying the field of the DC motor with the rheostat. Okay, this is a resistance, means it is a variable rheostat. Okay, when the field resistance is changed, okay, when the field resistance is changed, then the back EMF of this motor will be changed. That is, if field resistance will be changed, okay, if you change this field resistance, if you change this field resistance, then back EMF gets change. Okay, so this changes the DC voltage of the DC side of the rotary converter. Now, a rotary converter has a fixed ratio between its AC side, okay, and a DC voltage. Okay, thus the voltage on its AC side also be changes. Okay, the voltage on the AC side also be changes. So this AC voltage is given to the slip rings of the, okay, this AC voltage is given to the slip rings of the main motor. Okay, in the AC voltage we are giving to the slip rings. Okay, this is nothing but slip ring which will be given to the main motor. So the voltage is injected in the rotor side of the main motor gets changes, which produce a required speed control. Okay, so this methodology is applicable for very above a 4000 kilowatt machines. Okay, this methodology is applicable for above 4000 kilowatt machines such as steeling rolling mills, used for speed control. Okay, used for speed control. Theory part. It consists of main induction motor, the speed of which is to be controlled. There are two equipments are there, one is DC motor and rotary converter. The slip rings of the main motor are connected to the AC side of rotary converter. The DC side of the rotary converter feeds a DC shunt motor commutator which is directly connected to the shaft of the main motor. A separate DC supply is required to excite the field winding of DC motor and exciting winding of the DC rotary converter. A variable resistance is introduced in the field circuit of the DC motor, which act as a field regulator. The main operation of this method, the speed of the set is controlled by varying the field of DC motor with the rheostat on. When the field rheostat or resistance gets changed, the back EMF of the motor gets changes. Thus, the DC voltage at the commutator, because commutator means it's convert AC to DC, the commutator changes. So this changes the DC voltage on the DC side of rotary converter. Okay, now rotary converter has a fixed ratio between its AC side and the DC side voltage. This voltage of the AC side also changes. This AC voltage is given to the slip ring of the main motor. The main advantage of this method, it is smooth speed control possible. It has wide range of speed control is possible. There is a possibility of design of rotary converter. Okay. If the rotary converter is over excited, it draws leading current and thus power factor improvement is also possible with the necessary speed control. Second method, Scherber's system. Okay, Scherber's system. Okay, this is the diagram of Scherber's system. Now, this method requires a auxiliary three-phase supply. Okay, this is a three-phase supply. Okay, this is a three-phase supply, or we can say it will be a six-phase commutator machine, which is called six, because there are, this is three, and here also right side also 3. So total 6. Okay, 6 phase system. The difference between the Kramer's system and Scherber's system is that Scherber's system is not directly connected to the main motor, okay, whose speed is to be controlled. But in Kramer's, the main motor is directly connected. But here the main motor is not directly connected. Okay. The Scherber system is excited at, this is a Scherber's machine. It is excited at a slip frequency of the rotor of main motor, thus regulating transformer. The taps of the, this is a regulating transformer. The taps of this regulating transformer can be varied. This charges the voltage developed in the rotor of Scherber system, okay, which is injected into the rotor of main motor. This controls the speed of the main motor. The Scherber system is directly connected to the induction motor supplied from the main line, okay, so that the speed deviates from the fixed value to the extent of slip of auxiliary induction motor. Okay, for any given setting of the regulating transformer, the speed of the main motor remains substantially constant irrespective of load resistance, or we can say it will be a load variation. Okay, similar to the Kramer system, this method is also used to control the speed of large induction motors. It is above 400 kilowatt machines. Theory part which is available. Advantages: it is wide range of speed control is possible. Disadvantages: this method is only applicable to slip ring induction motor. Okay, this method is only applicable to slip ring induction motor. Okay, next one, load test, no load test. Okay, there are different types of tests are available in induction motor. Okay, one is a no load test, second one is a block rotor test, or we can say block rotor test, and we can say it will be a breakdown test also. Okay, no load test. Okay, no load test means we should not apply any load to the induction motor. Okay, this is a three-phase supply. Okay, in the three-phase supply we are giving, we are connected to the stator, okay, stator of the induction motor at no load, because we are not applying any load to the motor. During that time I have to connect a 3 ammeters, okay, to measure the three-phase current, and there will be a 2 watt meters which is to be connected to measure the power, okay, which is to measure the power. Okay, and this is the voltage, okay, to find out the line voltage. Okay, line voltage we have to measure it. Okay, these are the three parameters we are going to calculate. The first parameter will be a rated line voltage. This is V naught. Okay, rated line voltage V naught, and no load current I naught for any phases, and W1 for 1 watt meter and W2 for another watt meter. So there are 3 ammeters which we are using to measure the current, and there are 2 watt meters to measure the power, W1 and W2. Okay, this point will be CV. Okay, this is MR CV. This is also ML C, M for main, L for line, C for common, and V for connection. Okay, MLCV. See, we are connecting it. Okay, in this method the motor is made to run without any load. Okay, thus the speed of the motor is very close to n equal to ns. Okay, the speed of the motor is very to n equal to ns. The rated voltage is applied to the stator. Rated voltage means 230 volt you are applying to the stator. Then the input line volt current and the total input power is measured. Okay, input line current by using the ammeter you can measure it, and the input power you are going to measure by using 2 wattmeters. Okay, as the motor is on no load, the power factor value will be very high, very low. It is less than 0.5. Okay, and one of the wattmeter is negative also. It is necessary to reverse the current coil or pressure coil connections of such a wattmeter to get a positive reading. Okay, this reading must be taken negative for the further calculations. The total power input W naught is the algebraic sum of the total wattmeter readings which is measured in the table. Okay, so this is the equivalent circuit of no load test. Okay, the voltage and current, no load current I naught, and there are two parameters. One is R naught resistance and X naught is reactance, and IW will be the active component of current, active component current. I mu will be the magnetizing component current. Okay, IW is the active component and I mu will be the magnetizing component of current. Okay, there are three parameters. One is W naught is the power input, V naught is the applied voltage per phase, I naught is the applied current per phase. The calculations are W naught is equal to root 3 V naught I naught cos phi naught. Therefore, the load power factor cos phi naught equal to W naught by root 3 into V naught I naught. Okay, where V naught I naught are the line value. Okay, line value. Because we know in star connection the line voltage P line is equal to root 3 into 3 phase. Okay, the parameters are for I naught, IW will be the working active component, IMU will be the magnetizing component of no load current. Because I naught here, because in the rotor there are, it will be connected in parallel. Okay, the total I naught current will be divided into two. One is IW and IMU. IW will be the active component. The other name of this active component we can say it will be IC, and this IMU will be the magnetizing component. The other name of magnetizing component is IM. Okay, IW equal to I naught into cos phi naught. Im equal to I naught into sin y naught. The main difference between these two, okay, the instantaneous current, the maximum current is common to both, but the cosine term and here sine term will be changes. Okay, and R naught formula we already know. R equal to, by using Ohm's law, V equal to I into R. So from this, R equal to V by I. Okay, R na V naught by I naught and X naught. Okay, X naught also we know V naught by Im. Okay, V naught by Im. It will be a reactance. Okay, V naught by I. Okay, X naught is V naught equal to I into X M. Okay, therefore Xm equal to V naught by I. Okay, these are the parameters. While performing the no-load test of an induction motor, that is, a changes in the speed, okay, power factor, stator current, rotor current due to fluctuation in the applied voltage. When there is change in these fluctuations in the applied voltage, the readings noted from the test, okay, will be more accurate. Okay, it will be more accurate. Hence, it is also increases. Hence, it is also increases the accuracy of the calculation. Okay, it also increases the accuracy of this calculation. When performing the no load test, the speed of an induction motor is obviously, okay, obviously remains constant during the test. Okay, during the test, as the speed of an induction motor changes when there is a change, in heavy load, and therefore here the applied voltage should remain constant so that the speed of the motor will remain unchanged. When there is increase in the applied voltage on the larger value, the stator current has to supply magnetizing component of stator winding, which also increases. Therefore, there will be a fall in power factor. The torque of an induction motor is proportional to rotor current and the flux generated The flux generated in the induction motor will depend upon the amount applied voltage to the stator. When the applied voltage is kept a minimum, the torque generated will remain constant, but the rotor current will go on increasing. Thank you.